Hi everyone, welcome to welcome to the next video where we'll be going through an overview of AES, Advanced Encryption Standard. First, what is AES? And that's something I want you all to do some research. We'll start talking about asymmetric and symmetric encryption algorithm, right? First, it's a AES is a symmetric encryption algorithm, which means that when you talk of symmetric, it uses one key, the same key, to encrypt and decrypt the data, and it is a widely used of encrypted or to encrypt data. So a lot of companies will use the AES because it provides a very strong algorithm or byte to be able to protect that piece of information. And as I said, it uses the same key to, for both encryption as well as decryption. And you can see the different options. You have the AES 128 bytes. So that's how long, the character, random character that will be generated. And that's why it says that 256 is the strongest, right? And AES 256 offers stronger encryption with a 256 byte key, making it a highly secure option for protecting sensitive data. For example, a company uses AES 256 to encrypt cardholder data before sending it over to an insecure network to ensure confidentiality. And this, as I said, I've spent some time to really talk more on encryption, and we're going to see that shortly. For example, when they send their plain text, you have the character that will be generated, key size 256 by 14 rounds, symmetric encryption, and then you have the ciphertext, which is the ciphertext as the encrypted information before it goes to the recipient, where the recipient will use the same key to be able to decrypt it, right? And this also explained the previous slide, right? But a question is, how are AES key exchange between sender and receiver? Because at this point, we are talking of, say a third party is housing the information, or better still, we have to manage the key, but we are sending information across the internet. I'm sending it to somebody. How is that person? How do we exchange a key? The AES actually uses the same key, one key. How are we able to smoothly or efficiently or effectively transfer the key? That way, once it's been encrypted, and how is the recipient or yes, the receiver being able to decrypt the data? And let's follow me and stay put, okay? It says AES is symmetric encryption, which means the same key is used to encrypt and decrypt the data. But AES doesn't handle key exchange. So the key exchange must be handled separately and securely. Does it make sense? AES does not handle key exchange. And because of that, key exchange must be handled separately and securely. Then, now we are coming out and we're talking about hybrid encryption. This is exactly how it happens, right? AES is used to encrypt the actual data. If I want to send you an information right now, AES, of course, they've already enabled everything within the system. You guys, you don't see it, but it will be encrypted. You encrypt the actual data. Hi, we have a class coming up at 7 p.m. today. Hi, let's meet or let's go out. Oh, I'm hungry. That's the actual data. And AES will be able to encrypt that data. But now, if you see, it encrypt the actual data. And then we also have this guy, the RSA. I want you to do some research. I actually did it on a purpose. I did not put the name because I don't just want to be teaching. Like, I want you all to do some research on that. What kind of encryption algorithm is it, right? We have the RSA or the ECCC, which is asymmetric encryption. AES is symmetric encryption, uses the same key to encrypt and decrypt the data. Asymmetric encryption uses a key to encrypt the data and uses another key to be able to decrypt that data. And we'll start hearing words like public key as well as private key, right? It's used to encrypt the AES key. Do you see? So the AES is used to encrypt the data, and then we'll have this guy that is an asymmetric algorithm or encryption. It will be able to encrypt the AES key. but we are coming, okay? Just stay along, right? The recipient uses their private key to decrypt the AES key and then uses it to decrypt the data, right? So once we encrypt that data, we've encrypted the data, it's gone. But guess what? We have the ROSA, we'll just stay with ROSA. We'll encrypt that particular key that we already have. And then once it goes to the recipient will be able to use their private key to decrypt, that encryption AES key. And then with that, they use that key now to be able to decrypt and read from the data. But again, simple, we are getting there. This, honestly, I don't know how many hours I put just to come up with this slide for you guys to see how these things, like, it's easy. Many a time when we have encryption, we just feel like it's scary. Myself, I feel like it's a scary topic that one cannot assimilate, one cannot understand, but not. And you guys, you'll be able to see how easy this thing is if you just devote some time to conduct some research and, just try to do some research, okay? All right, this is used in HTTPS and TLS handshake. Remember we spoke about handshake? Remember we spoke about the three-way handshake? This is gonna come handy, in our subsequent slides. So, or secure file sharing, such as Google Drive or Dropbox encryption. But what if a company encrypts data and a third-party vendor only stores it without managing or storing the key? Remember, we said that is like some condition to reduce the PCI DSS score. If the third-party vendor doesn't store the key, the key, or has to do with the key management. So what happens? And it said, if in PCI DSS, if the third party only store encrypted data and do not or has access to the key, they are not in scope for the encryption process, or only minimally in scope. Remember, we said only minimally. PCI DSS might still apply, but they will need to, implement those controls that we mentioned. It could be logical controller, fluid access, or physical security controls. But this model is called bring your own key. Have you heard the word bring your own device? Do you use your laptop or your phone at work, bring your own device? And now it will tell you bring your own key, or client-side encryption. But how does it work? The company will encrypt the data on their end with their AES key. They send only the ciphertext, that's the encrypted data, to the storage vendor. The vendor store it but cannot decrypt it because they never received the key. It's just like when you lock your door. You go, if somebody have a wrong key, they cannot get into your house, okay, or they cannot enter your house. The company retains full control of the encryption and decryption process. Key exchange in this case, there is no key exchange with the vendor because the vendor does not need the key, so there's no key exchange. The vendor, the only thing they are doing is to be able to store that data, house the data. So there is no key exchange. And that's why we said that this is actually falls under reduced condition. Okay. So we'll continue. But I guess you guys know me, more repetition. What is AES? Again, it's a symmetric encryption method. It uses the same secret key to encrypt and decrypt data. But here's a challenge. How do we safely share the AES key between the sender and the receiver? Now we'll kick out the vendor. The vendor is not involved in the key exchange. But now, say we are doing now, our company manages that, and we'll have to send information, communication have to happen. But how do we ensure that that information or exchange is key? We said that we use just one key. How does it work? All right? AES can't do that on its own. So we need asymmetric encryption like ROSA or ACC to help. So on its own, AES will not be able to involve in this key exchange. And remember, and that's why AES, as we said, it encrypts the data. it encrypts the actual data. So I will create another video on how RSE, do yourself a favor, do a research, come up with an acronym for this. If possible, put it in the comment section. How does RSE and AES work together to achieve everything that we discussed? I'll see you all in the next video.